The old world is gone, but it left a little something behind. You. And now, it is the new world that threatens to take what little you have left. A person out of time, you emerge into a strange new environment. Alone, but alive. You'll have to fight, you'll have to scavenge, and you'll have to find what allies you can. But if you persevere, you might be able to build a new life for yourself in the wasteland. And if you're lucky, you might be able to reclaim some of that which was taken from you. Fallout 4 is a first-person shooter with plenty of RPG and exploration elements. At the start of the game, you wake up from cryogenic suspension after the world has been destroyed by nuclear war. You discover that your child has been kidnapped and that you must set out into the wasteland in order to find him. At this point, you're free to explore the sandbox environment, which is based on Boston, Massachusetts after it was destroyed by nuclear weapons. Since this is a first-person shooter, as you explore the wilderness, you'll frequently get into fights. You'll often encounter the dangerous wildlife, the equally dangerous human population, and occasionally even run into some sort of science fiction monstrosity. Eventually, during your exploration, you'll come across cities and towns where you'll be able to exchange your weapons and gear, purchase supplies, and upgrade your equipment. You'll also be able to interact with the NPCs to gather clues about your main objectives, or take on side quests if you prefer. You may even encounter unique NPC companions that can help you during your travels.
You want into Diamond City, right?
I just got here, but yeah.
Now, as you explore and fight enemies and gather items, you'll gain experience, and when you gain enough experience, you'll be able to level up. Each time you level up, your character will gain more health and abilities, which will allow you to confront tougher challenges and explore more of the wasteland. Now, up until this point, this all sounds pretty familiar, and indeed it does share a lot of similarities with the previous game in the series, Fallout 3. However, Fallout 4 does have a number of alterations which give it its own unique experience. The clearest and most obvious change is in terms of gameplay. Where Fallout 3 was more of an RPG that you played through first-person perspective, Fallout 4 is very clearly a first-person shooter. The way that your character moves, the way that the weapons handle, the addition of quick selection and a cover system, all of it's designed with shooting in mind. Even the VAT system has been altered. It no longer pauses time, instead it just slows it down, which makes it a lot more intense to try and use in the middle of combat. The result is that the shooting and the fighting in general is much tighter and much more responsive, easily on par with any of its contemporaries. Another interesting alteration is how the RPG mechanics have been streamlined. There are no longer any skill points that need to be allocated. Instead, whenever you level up, you get to choose a single perk from a tree of special abilities. Each one offers a discrete bonus in a specific area, and higher tiered attributes unlock when you increase your base abilities. This has an interesting secondary effect in that there are no longer any restrictions on what kind of weapons you can use. Any gun, any laser pistol, any rocket launcher can be equipped as soon as you find it. Even the series' signature power armor has been changed so that it is no longer only available during the late game, but can now be unlocked very early on. However, the trade-off this time around being that using power armor requires rare fuel cells which limit its operational capacity. But probably the most fascinating and the most drastic change is how Fallout 4 completely transforms its approach to exploration. And they do this by giving the crafting system a massive overhaul. In the previous game, you could upgrade your general weapons as well as craft some unique variants, and craft a couple of useful healing items. Fallout 4 keeps this functionality and expands its scope. You can now craft upgrades for virtually every weapon you can equip, and can craft armor augmentations as well. At higher levels, once you've taken the right perks, you can even start improving your power armor. But where things get really interesting is where Fallout 4 starts to add crafting to the environment as well. Early on in the game, you'll encounter a group of settlers who, after noticing that you're the main character, will agree to make you the leader of their new settlement. As leader, you have full authority to demolish and build whatever you want within the settlement's borders. At the top level, this means providing food and water and shelter to the people that live there. But once these basic needs have been met, it's up to you how to develop your settlement if you choose to do so at all. But it's hard to resist the allure of building your own little private sanctuary. And to help you, Fallout 4 provides a number of objects and decorations that can be placed wherever you like in the environment. For instance, you can put down prefabricated walls and floors which will snap together at the seams, then go on to add ceilings and furniture to create your own custom structures. Then, later on, you can build generators and string wires so that you can provide your settlements with electricity. With the right perks, you can even set up trading caravans and build stores that will allow you to buy and sell supplies. Now, while all of this crafting is kind of superfluous and doesn't add anything to the story of Fallout 4, the settlements themselves are not without benefit. Firstly, it provides you with a convenient place to rest and resupply as well as upgrade your equipment. But secondly, and probably more importantly, it provides a synergistic enhancement of the game's exploration. You see, the primary method of gathering materials for all the various structures and decorations that you build in your settlement is by collecting objects from out in the wasteland. Where in previous Fallout games, all of the environmental objects were there merely for the purposes of decoration, in Fallout 4 you can break them down into useful goods. How it works is, as you explore, you'll be able to pick up cans and bottles, telephones and typewriters, then take them back to your settlement and break them down for their valuable plastic and metal and circuitry. These components will then be used whenever you build a new structure or craft a new upgrade. And the result is a game where exploration and customization go hand in hand. A game where there's actually an incentive to thoroughly explore a level and scavenge through shelves and lockboxes, because all of the junk that you find has the possibility of being turned into useful items. As a side note, I should probably mention that with this many moving pieces, the game is a little buggy. Although honestly, I'm surprised that it's not more broken than it already is. Hey, check this out. I've discovered the ancient Blue Jean burial grounds. Ah, truly a mysterious culture. Now, I suppose I should mention that with a game this large, with this much material and this many alterations, some things have been phased out. For instance, this time around, story and character interactions are very limited. Character conversations only ever have 4 dialogue options, and while you might get some extra information out of using charisma to persuade people, there are very few quests with multiple choices and endings. Also, there's no karma system anymore, which personally I don't really miss, but it does mean that it's hard to see how your actions are affecting the wasteland on a larger scale. Still, I wouldn't consider these alterations a net loss overall. Personally, I find that the expansion of the gameplay in terms of its scope, variety, and customization is a more than sufficient trade, even if, in exchange, the game limits your possible interactions with the story. So yeah, I would give Fallout 4 4 out of 4 stars, and my easy recommendation. It is an excellent first-person shooter that does a great job of mixing action with customization and exploration. I definitely recommend it if you like shooters, sandbox games, or even just the Fallout series. Alright, thanks for watching, and remember, the times, they are a-changin'. What the? Oh. Well, this certainly captures the imagination. A whole new world. A new fantastic point of view. No one to tell us no, or where to go, or say we're only dreaming.